Hey guys, Otto here from Acquisition Partner. Now today guys, in this video what I'm going to do is run you through a very simplistic process of how you can build out a retention strategy for any clients that you have that are in the e-commerce and D2C brand niche. Okay, so if you're running an email marketing agency, if you use Klaviyo and you're providing Klaviyo as a service to clients, then this video is going to be specifically for you. Now, when we talk about retention marketing, what we're talking about is how brands can focus on repeat purchases from past customers. Okay, so retention sits after acquisition. Acquisition on the acquisition front incorporates everything from paid Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, whatever it might be, as well as other forms of acquisition. But strictly speaking, when you are discussing email marketing, specifically in the context of e-commerce brands, everything that you are going to be delivering strategy-wise surrounds itself around retention marketing. Okay, so how can we maximize the juice of the squeeze of the current customers that the brand has? That's specifically your goal in running an e-com email agency. Okay, so what I'm going to do is minimize my face here and show you this workflow in this wireframe. Okay, and what this wireframe is going to show you is basically the relationship between new customers, existing customers, and lapsed customers of a brand, and a potential workflow that you can help deploy for any particular e-com client that you might have or that you are targeting. Okay, and the reason that this wireframe and workflow is important and useful is that every single brand that you work with is going to have a slightly different user journey. Okay, so this is going to depend on a multitude of factors, not least the total number of SKUs that the actual e-commerce brand has and sells. But it's going to rely on a number of different inputs, that if you've got any questions about there, drop a comment below and I'll help answer any specific questions you have. Okay, so for this particular workflow, for one of our past e-com clients here, you can see that in terms of attracting new customers into the owned media arena here, so every customer who enters into a platform like Klaviyo or Omnisend or Drip, whatever it might be that you are using for your e-commerce ESP for your client, every customer that basically enters that workflow is going to come through the e-com platform that the brand has got integrated with their site. Okay, so if it's Shopify, what you're going to be able to see when you integrate Klaviyo, for example, as a tool into Shopify is a list of the active profiles. So these are all past customers that have interacted with the brand in some sort of historical respect. Now, diving in slightly deeper and peeling back a sort of further top level there, from your active profiles, you then have, what we can deem your list subscribers. And list subscribers are individuals who may not necessarily have actually purchased from the brand already, but they have given over permission for the brand to extract and save their contact details. Okay, so typically it can be first name, last name, or birthday, favorite color, whatever it might be. But in 100% times, in 100% cases, it's going to be their email address. Okay, so that's what we want. That's the North Star and the Holy Grail of retention email marketing. We want their email address, and if you're deploying SMS marketing as well, you want their phone number. Okay, so this wireframe here is just going to give you an example of how a customer can flow through the different stages of their relationship with that brand. Okay, starting out as a new customer, this brand specifically was tackling individuals who had browsed specific products and then exited the website and gone off upon their business. Okay, now typically with a browse abandonment, that individual has to already be a list subscriber. There are a couple of use cases where you can kind of get around that, but typically in this case you've got individuals entering a browse abandonment flow as well as subscribing to your list are going to be at the stage of their kind of customer journey right at the beginning here with this specific brand. Okay, so this brand, what we were able to do with them was set up a browse abandonment, and that's a flow that went out to them with a number of different emails to follow up saying, hey, look, noticed you looked at these products, we've got a specific discount code that you can use if you buy them today, whatever it might be. We incentivize them with an offer, and then we are able to kind of influence their buying conversion through an automated flow. Okay, and that's what really Klaviyo and email marketing comes down to. The majority of money that you're going to make for your clients or for your brand is going to be through the automations and through the flows that you deploy. Okay, so from there, customers going to browse products, they will join the list, and then from there, what we're kind of helping to push them through to is going back to those products and adding them to their cart. Again, if they don't make the purchase, so if these two steps have worked and they've signed up to the list, they've looked at the products and they've responded to our browse abandonment reminders, if they've responded to those two flows there. What they're going to do is convert. They're going to make a purchasing decision. They're going to buy a product. Okay, so that's a win for the brand. It's a win for you as an agency. The flows are working, all right, in their sort of most reductionist, simplistic form. If that hasn't worked, what we want to do is push those individual customers into what's called a cart abandonment or an abandoned cart flow. Okay, so the abandoned cart flow is going to be it's going to yield the maximum amount of results in terms of tangible earned revenue and revenue per recipient and per email, second probably to your welcome series for any given e-com brand. Okay, and what this is going to do is add an extra layer of reminder. Basically, if they've gone back to those products and browsed them again, they've added them to their cart, and then maybe they've got a phone call or walked off to make a cup of tea and they've forgotten about making their purchase, this individual potential customer is actually going to get reminded about the products that they were browsing, and we're going to hit them with some offers here. Typically it's a discount percentage depending on what the margins are in the business, and it's going to remind them there and push them towards that final purchasing conversion. Okay, so typically with the welcome series next, if they haven't already added products and they haven't revisited those products and bought them, what we want to do through a welcome series is basically nurture them to a point where they make the first purchase. Okay, and again, in the welcome series, typically 9 times out of 10, you're going to hit the individual customer with a specific offer. And depending on what time of the year you're in, if you're in a key sale month like Black Friday or Christmas or January sale, whatever it might be, you can hit them with discounts or free shipping, whatever it might be. Okay, so the whole purpose of this flow is to initially create a new customer. Okay, and it's not until you can really get that individual on your list and get them having already purchased that you can then go and retarget them. Okay, so if you haven't pushed them to that conversion, it's very difficult to retarget them. And that's the real kind of core and bread and butter of retention marketing, is retargeting customers who have already interacted with the brand. Okay, so it's kind of like an acquisition push, but on the retention front. All right, so next, once they are a paying customer, what we want to immediately do then is push them into a feedback or user-generated content or review request flow. And this is basically something that hits them pretty much immediately after they've either bought their product and received confirmation of shipping, or there's been a time delay and they've received their product. We want to immediately strike while the iron's hot and get their immediate feedback once they've opened the box of the product, whatever it might be, and they are, their breath's been taken away. We want to hit them immediately with a reminder: hey, notice you've opened your item or got your item, whatever it might be. How's it sound about giving us a 5-star review? In return, we'll give you X, Y, Z. Okay, you want to hit while the iron's hot. Speed of implementation is very key here. Okay, so you don't want long delays. You want to make sure that the review request 100% accurately marries up to the brand's shipping timelines. Okay, so if you ship within 24 hours and they get the product in 48 hours, set that accordingly in this flow. All right, so next, once they have submitted, or you've at least asked them and reminded them and consistently asked them for a feedback or review, then what you want to do is push a cross-sell. Okay, and from there you can get a little bit more granular. You can go for downsells and upsells too. But typically, if you're working with a brand or you own a brand that has multiple SKUs, you want to try and get that customer who is happy to buy from you again and buy different products from you. Okay, so goes without saying, increases your revenues. It's going to increase your revenue per recipient too, okay, and the lifetime value of that customer. All right, so next, what we want to do from that flow is really get an idea of who the VIPs are. And the VIPs are going to be a segment that you create within Klaviyo, and a segment is an active pool of individual recipients who will go into that pool and out of that pool. It's not a static list, it's dynamic. And what that kind of pool will represent is a specific type of buyer or buying behavior. Okay, so it might be somebody who's bought within the last 30 days or 180 days, or they've bought a product that's the color red, whatever it might be. That segment there is going to be dynamic and it's going to change. But what you want to do is really identify the individuals who have bought from you and bought a lot from you, and go to them with a specific and special exclusive offer too, okay, to further increase their lifetime value. Now from there, what you want to do, moving past the existing customers kind of timeline, you then get into the arena of lapsed customers. And these are individuals who have potentially interacted with the brand in the past. They bought from you previously, but they have gone radio silent in terms of how they're engaging with you. So maybe they're not opening the emails that they're subscribed to, and not least, they're not actually buying anything from you or the brand. Okay, so what you want to do is update them with replenishment or stock updates, things like that. Keep in touch with them, keep engaged with them. And equally, what you want to do is kind of go out on a sunset process here where you try and win back all of these customers. Okay, so you want to follow up with them, hit them with specific offers, And like I say, there's a million and one things that we've been able to deploy for all of our own clients over the last 6 years. So if you have any questions about how we do this, drop a comment below and I'll be super happy to help. All right, guys, speak soon.